What's up, y'all? Antonio.
My name is David.
We're here. Welcome to the Everflow podcast.
Woo-woo.
We're super excited to have you here. And we are wanting to open up a conversation that we had last night. And I was like, bro, let's put the camera on and capture our next podcast.
We went pretty deep last night, which was awesome because I had just arrived from travels and Tones and I hadn't seen each other in about a week, but we were just catching up and sharing some of what we'd experienced over the week. And a lot of it had to do with AI conversations that we were having with other people and just different encounters that we've been having as AI has been making its presence known in the music industry. So we want to take this time to share our thoughts on AI and how we collaborate with it or how we don't collaborate with it, and how to find peace amidst the noise, amidst the chaos, amidst the uncertainty of what the future holds, particularly for creative people who create and live life and share songs or share writings, any sort of creative endeavors, but ours is particularly regarding the music path. And that's what we're going to be doing today.
Yeah.
But before we do that, we like to open up the podcast with a little bit of a recap of what we've been up to in the last few weeks. It's been quite busy. Today is February 10th, and we are recording this after NAMM, after the Grammys, after Time Out, the biggest and most amazing Time Out we've had to date, which is awesome. So we just want to share a little bit of a recap. You got any fun memories from the last few weeks of things you experienced / learned?
Well, like on the health side of things, did a fast, 5-day fast that was inspired by you and from other things that I was doing and just wanting to start the year fresh. So that was quite the journey to do a water fast for 5 days, and felt really good. And coming out of it felt really good. And then I went overboard and had like donuts for 4 or 5 days in a row at midnight.
You did so great coming out of it. So you were doing a really good job of taking care of your body, which is really important.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
So I feel like recently I'm kind of finding that equilibrium of coming back to more of the healthy state, because it really felt amazing going through that. And then kind of towards the end of January going into NAMM was, NAMM's always, I like to call it like wonderfully overwhelming. It's overwhelming in music. So I love being around that, but it also could be a lot. So I like to go in with like a strategic plan. And the main thing was to connect with people. And it was just this open space, and ended up running into old time friends or running into new people. Did you see Stevie Wonder this time around?
I don't think I saw him, no.
Me either.
No. Was he there?
Yeah, apparently
cool.
He was. Yeah. That's awesome.
That's funny how much we saw him last year.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh man, it's so awesome.
Yeah, so it was great to be able to see live performances and go to particular workshops and kind of just go through it in a paced way. I don't feel like I went through it as like I did the year before, of like trying to go to every workshop and go to every single thing. And through that, my biggest takeaway was actually a workshop that I went to, which is Music is Medicine. And they had talked about that, and then seeing people perform, I got reminded of like, oh yeah, when someone is in their gift, performing, not putting on a mask, not trying to show off, not anything else other than just honoring their gift, and they're excellent at it, it's such an awesome thing to witness. Seeing Witherspoon, Daniel Witherspoon?
Daniel Weatherspoon, I think it is Weatherspoon.
Yeah. And Layla Hathaway. And just seeing them just casually, I was like,
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was special.
It was great. So I feel like I got filled up going to NAMM.
It was also wonderful just to get to reconnect with friends that we see pretty much once a year because they live in different places. But they come to California for NAMM, and it's the best time of the year to just reconnect with them and see each other again and make great memories together. So one of our group of friends that we got to do that with was Los Wizards. They were nominated for a Grammy in the Latin rock alternative album, I believe. And we actually met them at our first NAMM, and that's when we befriended each other. They came and performed at our fourth time out with Ale Moore when she was nominated for her Beautiful Humans Grammy. And
that was our fourth time out?
That was our fourth time out.
Wow.
Pretty amazing. One for the books, for sure. It was here in this home.
Yeah.
It was inside because it was raining.
Yeah.
But we were able to stay in touch with the Wizards and with Ale Moore and Wismer over the next few years and become friends. And we invited them back this year, and turns out they were nominated for a Grammy again, which is super exciting. So that time out works out perfectly. We try to schedule it between NAMM and the Grammys because there's so many people in town and an opportunity to see all of our friends. And that timeout ended up being the largest timeout we've ever had. I think we had something over 170 RSVPs.
177 RSVPs.
Thank God. We're so grateful for our collaboration with Shauna Ballard at Apex Arts Recording Studios because she has the space to host that kind of a function.
Yep.
And it was amazing because her daughter performed and at the beginning of the night, and she did wonderfully. And then when the Wizards came up, like there were so many people that were starting to dance. I was like, we need room. We need accessibility.
So you're removing some of the chairs.
I just start grabbing chairs because I'm like, this will probably be good for the vibe. And like the song after, they were like, take out all the chairs. And we're like, let's go, baby. And it turns into a freaking party. Everyone's jumping and dancing and having a great time. And that's a wonderful memory. We have some fun clips from that.
Yeah. And if you haven't been to Timeout, typically it's like an acoustic chill.
Yes,
like
it's a little more laid back.
Yeah. So this was they brought the Miami Heat.
Yeah, and it was perfect for this one, and it was so much fun. So we have a bunch of videos that you could see on our Instagram from that night, and they did not win their Grammy, but it's just such an honor just to even know them and see them and learn from them. And they were the reason that we got to see. Oh, actually, maybe not. No, we got to see the Studio Logic after party. They invited us to it.
Yeah.
But Daniel Weatherspoon was the Nord keyboard after party,
right?
Which was through Gio and his friends that were able to get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks to them. Always fun to experience the beauty of live music, the beauty of human beings coming together to connect, to learn from each other, just to share what they know with each other, and that pretty much sums up NAMM. A whole bunch of activity, and then everyone goes home the weeks afterward, and it's just like, okay, recovery time.
Yeah. It's an amazing event to go to and to get filled up and to again meet new people and build new connections. So
yes,
it's awesome.
Shout out to Mr. Shapiro for getting us into NAMM.
Brad Shapiro.
We're grateful for you, brother. Thank you so much. And it's fun because last year at NAMM, I remember everyone was talking about AI. I went to a lot of panels last year as well, and so many of the topics for the different panels were AI and how to use it and this and that and AI, and everyone was talking about, and that was last year. And here we are in a whole new year, whole new era. I didn't visit as many of the workshops this year, but I'm pretty sure it would have been just as AI.
Oh yeah.
I
went to some of them, and literally, yeah. Yes.
And AI is just this incredible new era in our humanity as creators, as people who have access to information and access to the power of machine learning. Like this is the first time in our history, and from here on out, it feels like the timeline is going to be shortened. Like it used to take a couple thousand years for there to be a technological advance, and then once that happened, maybe a few hundred years till the next one. And in the last century or two, like my grandfather was born in a time in Colombia when he didn't have electricity and he didn't have TVs. And in the same lifetime, we have AI, And that's,
wow.
and it's going to be something crazy even for us. Like in our lifetime, we didn't have an AI, and by the end of it, like it's going to be something irrecognizable.
I'm gonna
almost.
be AI.
Exactly. And Tones and I have had different conversations over the years, over these, even with the advent of AI. First, it was ChatGPT and seeing it, how you can use it as an assistant. And originally my stance on it was like, I'm never going to use AI. And now I'm pretty sure I use ChatGPT almost once a day at least. And I put my mom and my sister on to it. But now AI is taking this role where it can substitute as a creative collaborator. It can, using Suno, I believe, is one of the primary AI softwares to create music and to refine melodies and to do all this incredible stuff at the type of a prompt, That has never been seen before. And we've had conversations with different writers and producers, artists in the industry, just to get their thoughts and see how they're interacting with AI, but also Tones and I have our own conversations about how we feel about it. And let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I think, go ahead, bro.
For me, I know that there's been some nights where I've been staying up on Instagram far too long, and we'll go down the AI rabbit hole. And a lot of fear can start to fill me up because I'm like, oh my gosh. Social media was already bad enough with just the comment section, which is its own audience.
Yeah.
And then now not being able to know what's real or what's real. And so from that, have been reminded, like through our conversation last night, of the value of like pulling back, slowing down, zooming out. And then from this, being able to know, okay, where do I want to place my focus right now? Do I want to focus on, oh my gosh, AI is coming. I got to be as resourceful as possible and beat it and try to figure out my way. And other people are using it. This feels immoral, but I'll just do it because everyone's doing it. Versus like slowing down to realize, okay, change like this, as you said with your grandfather, comes in a lifetime. It's gonna happen. It's already here. But I do feel like from what you and I are saying and what I've talked about with a few other people is like there are moral ways on an individual basis of how someone may want to use it as a way of being resourceful. From building a business plan to building out a social media rollout plan to adding captions to all these different elements that help your creative process. And for me, as I zoom out, I am reminded of how important it is to me to have the human touch be a part of the creative experience. There are great things to be efficient on, and where AI and ChatGPT, that efficiency can help streamline the creative flow. But when you start, for me, I feel like if I start tapping into AI as the source that is kind of creating for me, then I feel like I'm bypassing the spiritual experience of creating music, which I believe comes from God and flows through all of us. And it's bypassed. And with AI, it's just copied from what's happening within the world. And
I think one of the most powerful things that we can do as creators is to give our own music and our own expressions to the world. Because as we know, like there's no really new music under the sun in some sense, right? Even as creators, we're just sharing the things that influenced us through our own lens. But that's why it's special. It's because it's through our own lens. And humanity has been moved forward by creators and thinkers that contribute from their own life experience to humanity. They're contributing the things that they've learned, the things that they've perceived, and then taking it through your own life experience and lens, and then sharing that with the world. That is so powerful. And like you were saying, outsourcing that creative process that we can undergo has a couple of different effects. And one of them being like the person that you become on a creative journey is reason enough to go through the creative process on its own. When you come against roadblocks and writer's block, or like you're in a session and you're not sure what idea to do next or what to pursue next, or you feels like you reach a dead end, that builds something in you that if you remove that obstacle, you don't have that lesson anymore. What comes with that lesson? Resilience. What comes with that lesson? Learning to regulate your own emotions and how to manage your own expectations, your own disappointments, how to pivot, how to perhaps even reach out to another collaborator to see what their ideas are, or to even just talk to a friend and say, hey, this is something I'm going through, you know? And there's also the beauty of like, you reach this obstacle and the beauty of overcoming it.
right,
And the joy and the satisfaction that brings and the trust that it creates in you for yourself to endure these kinds of obstacles. The trust that you can have in the creative process, the trust that, whatever happens, we're going to make it through. Like these are intangible lessons that only come by enduring a creative process without, like, as soon as you hit an obstacle, like going around it with some sort of solution, Like that's what's challenging, even if we talk about the information age that we live in, to have accessibility to everything that we ever want to know about anything.
Yep.
Back in the day, if you didn't know something, like let's say, how far back are we going to go? Like you had to wonder about it. Mm-hmm. You had to...
It's just like myth and story.
Yeah, you had to ask the village shaman, like, what is this thing that I'm experiencing? I don't know what it is. But there's, again, humanity, and we're passing down these stories and the information through that lens. But now we don't have to wonder anymore. And it kind of leads to this, we've been talking about sacred and mundane, something sacred and making it profane. Like it's not exciting anymore to like learn something new, because it's like, oh, cool. Like how many times do we retain the information that we search on Google? Like you can recall it. Like I remember myself personally, I've had to Google the same thing multiple times because I've forgotten, because there's no longer this necessity to store it. There's not the same value to it.
Even GPS.
Like how do I get to the place that I go every week? Let me plug it in the GPS. And so because information is so immediate, so valuable, when it becomes so infinite, it loses its value, right? And so this is one of the parallels to using AI to creating music. It could be the case that because it becomes so easily creatable, it could lose some of its value, And so I know for me personally, and Tones and I'm grateful that you and I are aligned on this matter, is when it comes to the creative process, we choose to honor the beauty of our humanity, of the spiritual sacred aspect of it, and not incorporate AI into our creative process, because we don't want to forego all of the beautiful things that it has to offer us. The challenges that we encounter, the writer's block, the overcoming, the collaborative, the unknowing. Like, I would prefer to go through the writer's block than to just immediately be able to ease kind of the obstacles that I encounter. I'd rather have that kind of experience.
Yeah.
Because I know it has value. It's not a bad thing to not have an idea. It's not a bad thing to not write something for some time, Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where it's like, I know it's different per person. There are some people that's like, I want to be able to write 10 songs in a day. How can I do that? I can do that with ChatGPT and Suno. Mm-hmm. It's their own prerogative. I do feel like though, and I mean, this has been something in the whole music industry of, songs around the, let's say, Nat King Cole era, there's no Melodyne. You record it with the band until you get it right. And it's integrated into that is the human imperfection, but also the heart and soul without relying on technology to refine what you just did. You refine your skills in order to execute what it is that you're doing. Which again brings me back to NAMM, seeing people who have refined their skills to be able to execute that on the stage and crush it. That human touch is there. The more I feel like tech leads the way, the less human touch and the more perfection we aim for. Now there's Autotune, Melodyne, and all these different types of things that can suck the soul out of stuff. And from producer to producer, even on certain sound sources, literally using Antares Autotune can be a vibe and it sounds fire on an R&B or a pop or a Afrobeats track. If I just put Autotune on without even using the tuning on David's voice for a soulful song, I immediately notice the soul sucks out. I'm not even using it to tune yet, just having the plugin on. It's like I pay attention to that. And I think it's important to pay attention to those small little things. It's like, is this leading us towards that human depth and soul and spiritual connection, or leading me away? And in the way of AI, I've always been a fan of being as efficient as possible. I'm like, let's make this song happen in 10 tracks and no more. And let's get it done today. Like, I love being able to see what's possible within those types of restrictions. But I feel like if efficiency starts to become the main focus, then the other parts that could slow down the process start to get bypassed in order to be more efficient to meet particular deadlines. So it's like, there's resourcefulness that can be helpful, but there's also things that you bypass by being more efficient and making the sacred mundane, like what you spoke about. And learning how to not be eventually the old geezer who's like, human touch always in every single thing, and don't ever touch that technology thing. Like, keep the human touch. I understand that there are certain things that can, like typing into ChatGPT, I kind of created a 3 and 5 year game plan for my life. ChatGPT gave me a 10-year game plan as well and told me about a book that I could write. I didn't think about that. And I was like, that's a great idea. It gave me an idea, which is fascinating as a collaborator. I'm like, So yeah, there's I feel like great ways that it can create insights or fresh ideas, like reading a book and learning from that book. Oh, now I can do this from what I'm learning. You can tell ChatGPT, hey, refer to a Brennan Burchard world, and as if I'm going through this, what do you feel like Brennan Burchard would tell me to do in order to refine what it is that I'm doing? You're gonna have access to that. But again, with like the immediacy of what you spoke about, I totally forgot about that, about like not knowing. So let's say going to the library to find the book to learn. Now you just go to ChatGPT, and where Google, you have multiple sources that you can do your own research, choose your own adventure on. With ChatGPT, there's not automatically on default that choose your own adventure. It gives you one answer, if it's correct or not. So there's this could go down a whole conspiracy route, but there's like a unified type of narrative that you could be fed if it's correct or not.
Yeah.
And your own human pursuit to go explore and discover and find out gets minimized because you can just get the answer right now.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. If we continue to move towards the direction of like creating everything with AI inspired, AI will have less original content from which to draw from as it moves forward and educates itself. So in 50 years, you can almost like lose the uniqueness of music. You might lose the uniqueness of music because it's like, if everyone is using AI, it's not learning anything new. It's not experiencing anything new. And so at the end of in 50 years time, it's almost like the pool of information that it's drawing from is just like, everyone's gonna sound the same. Everything's gonna be the same. Everything's gonna feel the same, And I think that's an interesting thought, In order for AI to even really be successful moving forward, it's still gonna need original creators. Yeah. It's still gonna need original information to draw from. That's why big companies that are doing AI work, when they contract out for people to contribute to their libraries and things like that, they ask for the work to not be in AI derived at all. It's because the original information is so valuable, And for other reasons, there's other reasons as well, but it just makes me think about that. One of the other thoughts that I had was, what's important in this day and age is to know what's important to yourself, to you. What's important to you, what's important to me. What is it that you stand for? What are the values that you have? How do you feel about music? Why do you do music? What is your end goal with your music? Being really clear on those things will help you to decide how to collaborate with AI or not, or collaborate with other human beings, which is the original AI. Because this world and the momentum and the movement towards a certain direction can feel overwhelming, can be a little bit scary, can feel like, oh, well, if I don't adopt this, then I'm going to be left behind, you know? But that's why it's important. Like, one of the reasons we're choosing to do this and have this conversation is to encourage people that know where you stand and what is important to you. And if it's important to you, it's worth honoring. There's a reason why you feel that. Either draw towards something or like away from something. That's on your heart, on your mind, on your soul for a reason. And my encouragement is to honor whatever that is and to embrace it fully. And like Tones and I were talking about, like my original stance on ChatGPT like a year or two ago, I was like, I'm never going to use it. You have to be willing to change your ideas in your mind, but while having the values and the things that matter to you so intimate, so near and dear, so aware. That way, when you're pressured into a situation of like A or B, make your choice now. And it's like, oh shit, well, A's got a lot more money, but it's sacrificing my values. Then you know that you can say no to A because you know it's more valuable for yourself to maintain and honor the things that are important to you, you know? And with that being said, it's okay for other people to value things that you don't. That's totally fine. Like in my head, it's not like people shouldn't collaborate with AI. I just choose not to because that's what's important to me. But I think it's valuable for people to do whatever's valuable to them. And I just encourage people to have clarity on what it is that they think is important to them and then live authentically from that space. And if at some point they reach a place where they feel like they're out of integrity, out of alignment with their values, with the things that matter to them most, to be honest and to reconsider it and to stop and pause and not keep moving forward. Be willing to even just relearn and to reestablish your own stance, you know? As opposed to just surrendering your free will to the movement of progress and time and the industry and what's happening, you know? Like, if you're always authentic with yourself and you're staying open to the possibility of changing and learning something new, you won't be left behind. You'll be doing what is important to you, and that is the most important thing. You can always live with yourself for that, you know? But I think for me, it's very important to just, to not enter something because the world is doing it, or because you're afraid, or because you don't know enough about it yet. It's like, have the conversations with people, see how they're using AI, and just see how that makes you feel. And if you have more curiosity, ask some follow-up questions, you know? Or like, yeah, I mean, the value of it really is have conversations with people that are in the world with you and just see what they think.
Yeah.
Not to influence necessarily what you think so you can just latch onto what they're saying, but more so you can develop a wealth of experience and understanding about something and just see how people are feeling about it and why people are making the decisions that they are. And I would follow the people that are making decisions from their core and from the things that are important to them, as opposed to like, look how cool this is. I made 100 tracks in the last 14 days. And, you know, that's my personal preference. But again, like I said, there is like, for me, it's honestly a no judgment situation. Whatever people decide to do, rock it. Because like, we need people who are on different levels of the spectrum that are willing to interface with things that I may not be able to. And they'll teach me something that they might open my eyes up to something that I would have never considered. And thank God for them, because they're the pioneers, you know? And in my world, I'm a pioneer because I'm choosing to stay on this path while the world is moving in a different direction. And people will have value from my perspective as well, because I'm staying on this course. And I'm willing to replot my course, to change direction, to reconsider if it makes sense to me. And at the same time, honor the things that are important to me. And honor the things like, why did I start making music from the beginning? I love the feeling of it. I love connecting with the audience. I love knowing that you can start with nothing and at the end of a certain amount of time, you have this amazing song. And that makes me very happy. And I love the people that I get to make the music with and collaborate with. And the joy that I have from those friendships and connections is the reason why I choose to stay on this course. And I know that's important to me, you know?
as you're saying, we need the pioneers that are the people that along the whole spectrum. It makes me think of the technology age where, there are some musicians that may say you're only a true musician if you are holding an instrument or holding a microphone. But then there are EDM DJs that are sound designing for their freaking life, and it sounds amazing.
And they've never played an instrument.
They've never played an instrument, but they can create some incredible sonic experiences using technology. And it's amazing. And I'm a fan of that sound designing creativity. So similarly, someone that wants to create, it's the freedom of being able to create however you want to. And, as I feel like I'll always be a person that values honoring the fundamentals of a skill and developing those fundamentals in order to be able to execute at a level of excellence. Music. I went to music school, but you don't have to go to music school to be a proficient musician. You just have to put in the work to practice and refine your skills. And wherever you are along the path, let's say you're 37 years old, you've never really started music and you really want to start now, but you're afraid that with the whole AI stuff, it's like, how in the world can I even compete? It's like, well, you can be resourceful and use ChatGPT and AI to start developing your own sounds. And you could have that be a way to get your name into the pool and use that however you so choose. It's your prerogative. We can all create in our own way. I just feel it's important to continually double check, is this going to bring me into a deeper level of a human experience or a more shallow and quick way to get to the finish line of, let's say, finishing a song? Because if it's just getting you there, kind of like what you talked about of bypassing, I kind of consider it like a hurricane. We all go through the storm in some way, shape, or form in different seasons of our life. And we are refined from what we learn by going through that storm. If you bypass that storm by going in the plane and going around it and being on the other side and like, cool, sweet, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's like, great, yes, you have cleared the storm, but you've also completely cleared the life lessons that will develop you as a human. That's necessary in the human experience.
In the storm.
In the storm. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm like, a little weary of just bypassing certain human experiences, including in school. I don't even know how teachers and students are doing it nowadays with so many ways to get the answer immediately. In school, that's its own conversation. Mm-hmm. But I know for me, in this transitional period in the music industry, I'm noticing the fear that's coming up within myself. I'm noticing the scarcity mindset that's coming up. And then through conversations have been realizing, oh yeah, let me focus on the light. And let me let this be a period of time where I can sit back and realize, okay, why am I doing music? Am I doing it to be efficient and earn money? That can be a wonderful byproduct, but is that why I'm doing music? No. This process, this moment is helping me realize I'm doing music because of the human touch that happens through me and impacts the people that my music touches or the people I collaborate with to create that human experience together, that music together. And I don't want to bypass that. So just like during COVID, I had a big old zoom out of my own life experience and got to learn a lot about how I can personally develop as a human and where I can refine my integrity as a human and create better level of awareness and better accountability and being more willing to show up rather than to hide and numb and avoid certain aspects of my life. I feel like this period is also helping me to realize, why am I a musician? Why am I doing what I'm doing right now? And where there's so much noise going on, being able to slow down to quiet the noise to realize this is the path I want to go down. Similarly to what you talked about, this is the path I want to go down. Even if the world seems to be going a different direction, this is what morally feels right to me and my path and my life and where I feel like if I were to leave a legacy, I want to leave it down this path. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't feel like it's a sense of rigidity and scarcity of, I'm going to stick to this. This is exactly where I'm going to go and I'm not going to budge. And it's like, no. It's being willing to stay agile, being willing to pivot, being willing to adapt, all while refreshing, like, does this still align with my morals? Yes or no? And being able to clarify that as you move forward. Because there could be a time where we integrate our music with AI, where we have an AI assistant that does the editing for us before we go into a production session. That could be a thing. I could see down the line, there's a YouTuber and mixing engineer called Colt Caparoon, and he's talked about, he could see down the line there being mix engines where you can say, hey, I want my mix to sound like Tony Maserati or like Andrew Sheps, and just go and click and your whole mix gets adjusted to sound like them, or gets mixed and adjusted like that person. That could totally be a thing. But as an artist who truly values every step of the process being tended to, so no rock goes unturned, is the transformational process as an artist to develop you, that then you can share with your audience, humans, with people that your music resonates with. Because, we're using all these tools to be efficient, but eventually to go what? Into a human's ears for someone else to see. So with that human to human connection, let's just not bypass that by being efficient with AI. If we're really wanting to touch the heart, the minds, the giving someone hope, giving someone refreshment, giving someone perspective through our human to human connection, through the art and the language and the power of music. So those are some of the core fundamental reasons why I'm not wanting to just bypass just because AI is here, but I do want to see what I can do to make my creative process efficient so I can consistently stay in my lane of creativity, rather than being, let's say, maybe distracted by more technical things that might take more time, but to offer those technical things to something like AI so I can tap back into my human creativity. That might be where I flow right now. We'll see where that goes, but that's just coming to mind for me right now.
One of the things that you mentioned was the transformational power of music, and I love this idea. Just to touch on it, is music can be, we all have experienced music in a way that it's transformed our lives. I'm sure there's a song that you resonate with, that, or a moment that you saw some performance that like touched you. And that, like, music can be transformational passively, just as a consumer. And I was talking to Tones about this last night. Like, one of the greatest gifts that we have as creatives is that the music is also transformational to us in the process of creating the music. And that is a gift that, as a creative, not everyone has access to, because not everyone makes music, right? Everyone can consume it, but not everyone can create it. And the person that you become as you're creating music, the person that you're leaving behind and transforming into as your creative music, is a gift to yourself as a creative force. And I think that's one of the beautiful reasons as well to maintain the humanity in the creative process, to honor the tradition of taking your time or receiving or being excited about something. Like, there's these things that are irreplaceable, and that's just one of the reasons why to honor creativity, is how it can transform you. And if it transforms you, it will very likely transform your listener. If it takes you on a journey, if you experience, even if the journey is like before the song is even finished, the up and downs of the creative process, if it's moving you and taking you through a journey, it's becoming something that is so powerful and will transform other people. And I think that's a beautiful thing to honor. And one of the final things that I was thinking of as well is that if we're watching this video on the date or close to it when it was recording, 2026, that means most of us have had an experience of life before AI, before the advent of smartphones, or even just before AI, because some of the millennials, even they grew up without AI 10 years ago. Or are they millennials? Whatever generation was born after the 2000s. I gotta clear up on that language. But I think it's important as we move forward into this bold unknown of a future that we have ahead of us because of technology and the way that it's integrating, and almost it's going to continue becoming more and more of us, to remember who we are and where we come from, and what our heritage as human beings is, like there are certain discomforts that life offers us that in the past we couldn't overcome with a prompt or with a scroll,
Right.
And those are the things that make us human, and those are the things that keep us alive and healthy and well, We all know about the disconnection that happens when we're on social media, but we're not getting to see friends, when we're sharing videos, but we're not getting to necessarily talk or listen to other people, in an intimate environment, just to get to know how your life is and to feel that bond that we share with human beings. So as we move forward, we just have to, it's a beautiful thing to remember what things were like. And before technology existed, like everything that existed before this moment in time is what got us to this moment in time. And look at how beautiful this moment in time is. So it lends itself to this idea of like, if we got to this place, and it's such a beautiful place with all the technological advances that we have and all the interconnectivity that we have in this world, then the place that we came from must have value in order to have created something so beautiful as this life that we are experiencing right now. And that's why it's important. As we move forward, it's easy to forget where we come from, and just to remember that it's a beautiful thing, and to maintain the things that make us human, Mm-hmm. There was a few weeks ago, I was watching this talk from a doctor who works at Harvard, and he studies happiness, and he was saying that our brains are intelligent enough to know when it's not the real thing. Mm. So don't use AI to substitute the real thing, human connection, laughter, experience, going out in nature, not knowing, sitting and wondering for a little bit,
Being bored,
right? Yeah, but he says use AI in order to create more opportunities for human connection and for the things that make us human.
Yep.
And that is the way to have a healthy and happy life, because I think, we'll all at some point understand that and have our own personal experience of it, that going to ChatGPT and getting the answer isn't going to be the fulfillment. It isn't going to fill the gap, isn't going to fill the void, isn't going to fix the feeling. It won't always, And that's because that's the way we were designed as human beings. We don't always, knowing isn't always the answer, And so, but using AI with integrity, knowing where you stand, the things that you value, and using it to create more opportunities for human connection, more time, free time to be able to do more of the human things, like mm-hmm. getting outside with your friends for a picnic on a Saturday and turning off your phones for a few hours. Like, those are the things that we still need and will continue to need. And that will be even more crucial as we continue moving into the age of technology, of artificial intelligence, of moving into the future, away from whence we came.
Yeah.
And the world is going to need people to remind us of that. So that's why we're talking about it right now, as a reminder and encouragement for, if you feel like you're alone as a light in the community, like if you have some of these similar thoughts, but you feel a little scared, do your best to find people that resonate like you and start creating moments of humanity together. Little gatherings, little opportunities to just to be human again, just to be human with each other. Because the technology will always be there and the information will always be at your fingertips. You can always Google it. So maybe you take a moment next time you need an answer and you call a friend. And you say,
my gosh,
hey, I'm working on this thing, and before I do some research on it, I want to know what your thoughts are. How do you deal with this? And in that moment, you get multiple things. You get a fresh take from someone that you know and trust, or maybe you're getting to know them, and you also get the opportunity to bond with them. And maybe this is the beautiful thing as well, is as humans, we need each other, because the network that you have is the thing that opens up doors and opportunities. So if you ask them this question and they're like, oh, I didn't know you were working on this thing, I have this opportunity, or I have a friend who works in this, and they connect you, and all of a sudden it opens this door for you that mm-hmm. if you had gone to AI and gotten the answer, you would have had your answer, but you wouldn't have had any of the other value that comes with that interconnectivity that is so human, that is so you know? It's such a part of our heritage
Absolutely.
that we just need to remember it, you know?
I'm thinking too, like the last time I asked someone a question that I probably could have looked up that I can like immediately recall was asking my dad how to get to a particular location, like without GPS type of thing. And I ended up going to GPS anyways.
Yeah.
And if I think back, like I think it would have been a more fun experience, a more vibrant experience to listen to my father give directions of like streets I should look at to be able to turn at, and then to do that. Rather than be like, cool, got it. Yeah, but I think I know a faster way with GPS. And I can't remember if I got there faster or not. But that, being able to reach out to someone, I feel like it's a rare thing nowadays because you can look it up.
Yeah.
And as you said, there is a endless possibilities that can happen from that pinpoint of that human connection of where that can go. That's cut off if you just, in more isolation, do your own research, whatever it is, even if it's a trivial thing.
Yeah,
you know, and that's where I feel like the storytelling can kind of come back into play. Like I think of Smoke Breaks with Matt, where Matt talked about the whole inner tubing experience. I can still see what I thought he went through.
Yeah.
From that storytelling experience that he talks about like getting stuck under the tube under the water and getting stuck underneath the rock and getting out on the other side and then be like, oh my God, I can't believe that you made it through. The whole experience was so awesome.
Yeah.
By him just talking as we're outside looking at the sunset after a thunderstorm as he's smoking, doing his thing. Such an awesome human moment. And I feel like if all of us can have more moments like that, it's just a sweet part of the human connected experience. Yeah.
One of the thoughts that I had while you were saying that is like the opportunity that we have in this moment to speak to our elders and to speak to the people who are older that have lived in a different time than we have, but are still alive in this time. They remember what it used to be like, you know? Especially if there's someone that you know and love and care about, like an older friend or an aunt, uncle, a grandmother, a parent, you know? You can ask them, what was life like before this? You know, what did you do when you had to deal with this kind of challenge? What were some challenges that you faced? What were some of the ways that you entertained yourself? How is it that you would host people? And what kind of hospitality did you expect? How were people to each other? How did people who have different ideas from each other coexist and get along? Did they cut it off, or were they still friendly and neighbors? And at the end of the day, you know, like, and then what I like to do is I have a little note-taking section and I just write down some of those things just for myself, just to remember what things used to be like. So that as we move forward, knowing that those things are accessible to us when certain paths that are more modern and digital don't lead to fulfillment, don't lead to connection, lead to other outcomes that are not as satisfying, you know? It's like you can be like, oh, this is how it used to be done. And you can hybridize that with the modern existence, you know?
I used to walk 13 miles one way.
Yeah, when the AI robots here in the house be like, hey, AI robot, set a reminder for me to tell my family little stories about when I was a kid, you know? Like, but you know what I mean? Like, yes, we can coexist with these things, but to lose the heritage is losing out on the thing that is so beautiful to us, which is our own humanity, our own heritage. The reason why we used to do things and the most beautiful things that we have in life. One other thing I wanted to mention is regarding people who are starting off in music and don't have musical experience, background, or a skill, ability necessarily. Using AI is a powerful way to learn. And what I would encourage people who are using AI because they don't know how to create music themselves is to basically do your prompt and then listen to the music back and take note of how it makes you feel, and then start learning what is it that makes you feel that way about the music and the way that you're experiencing it. And that is 100% amazing. That is amazing. That's totally okay, you know? And at the same time, as you're doing this, carve out little blocks for time where you're creating music with AI and then giving it a go on your own. And using the things that you learned in the AI prompting, or more so in what the AI gave you back, in order to create your own story or your own melody or your own chord progression. The encouragement is to create as well alongside with the process of learning from AI, because that's going to make you better. That's going to give you experience. It'll make you better at collaborating with AI again, which is, AI is most powerful when it has excellent prompting, when it has excellent input from a human being. You know what I mean? But all music has ever been is recordings or getting to experience a performance of someone, and then the performance and the energy of it being so impactful that it left you an imprint on your own blueprint of music and sound. And then the practice is connecting with that blueprint of sound and sharing that sound outwards. That is your own, from your own experience. So you can do that whether the source is a classic jazz album, or it's the top 40 from the 90s or 80s or 50s, or it's AI prompt from something you prompted to create. All of those are inputs, and then just listen with emotion, listen with intention, take it into you, and then practice it on your own, whether it's a lyric or a little poem, or it's a melody idea that you capture on your voice note, or it's an attempt at a chord progression. That is important, and that's what I encourage people who don't have any sort of experience and are like, hey, I want to make music, but I don't know how, so I'm going to use Suno AI to create the songs for me. Awesome. Do that, and at the same time, learn from the music that you're creating, and let it become imprinted on you, and trust that you're able to learn. Like, some people might feel like, oh, well, I don't have any musical bones in my body. But if you have a love for music, that's enough of a bone to get you started, and now you can start paying attention to the things that move you. Make little categories of oh, I love it when there's more volume in a moment, or oh, I love it when the lyrics and the melody are you know? And then literally go and take that and make your own song. And it can be rudimentary as whatever. And I don't know if Suno has this capability, but it'd be really cool if it did. It's Suno, what is it about this last iteration? What is it that created this emotion? I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, I'm feeling this. That's one of the best things you can do with AI, is to use it to learn from it about what you're experiencing. And that'd be really cool. Or if you don't do that with Suno, but if you use that with ChatGPT and you take a song that you really love, like Stevie Wonder song, let's say Superstition, and you literally, if you have a more logical mind and you're trying to expand your creative bone, you can say, okay, hey chat, I like this song. It makes me feel this way. What is it about this song that makes me feel this way? I'm trying to learn about music production. I'm trying to learn about songwriting. Tell me some elements that I can listen to and pay attention to that are creating these changes in an emotion. And then you can collaborate with AI in that way to learn how to create for yourself. Once you learn what those things are, make a little note of it in your own guide, and then take it back in and make something for yourself. Super simple. It doesn't have to be a finished song. It's just a melody or a rhythm or a chord progression. But at least you start. That's the way we learn, is not only by consuming and getting it done, but by experiencing the information, passing it through our own filter, and then having an experience of that information through that lens. And that's how you can collaborate with AI if you don't have any musical bones in your body, but you want to have musical bones in your body. Just don't outsource your decision making and your final creativity, because that's always going to be a part of you, and that's going to be the thing that makes you the most special and unique thing. Even if you think it's not very special, that is the thing that is special. So I encourage that. Any other thoughts, bro? Any messages to the world as we close this out?
It's just really a reminder, equally both for me and for you, of focusing on the light, not allowing fear to run the show, with all the questions that we all have. This is regarding AI and even outside of AI. There's value in, as you said, having the community, any source that brings the light into your life. And whatever creative venture that you're on. Being able to slow down enough to be able to know as clear as possible, these are morally the choices I want to make in order to honor the path that I'm on. Because I also feel like you have that gut instinct because you on that path has a purpose, a legacy, a particular person that is meant to touch. So there's a lot of mystery in life. There's a lot of mystery in this transitional period. And focus on the light, focus on creativity, focus on connection.
And my final thought about this message is just to stay open, to not get divisive about whether people are or aren't using, and don't worry about what people think about the way you're doing it either. It's like, it's your life. You get to live it however you want. You get to interface with stuff however you choose. But whatever you do it because it feels good to you and because it's in alignment with your core values. And be willing to re-examine those core values and to change into a new field if that's what's calling you. And then encourage people as they're creating whatever it is they're doing. And align with people that are both like you and unlike you. Have a party with everyone together and then pick a few out. It's like, yo, I want to collaborate with you personally because like something about the way you do it I align with, or something about the way you do it I don't understand and I want to understand it better. Like that's how we're going to move forward and learn and survive all together. Not only survive, but thrive.
Stay creative, my friends.
Thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to this conversation about AI. If you want to learn more about our music and experience more of it, you can go to everflowsound.com. We host Time Out here in North Hollywood once a month. It's our artist showcase community gathering. We've been hosting it ever since end of 2023, and I think we're now on our 29th Time Out. And you guys are more than welcome to come, and if you want to perform at that, there's more information at welcometotimeout.com or on Instagram at welcometotimeout. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Woo! Peace!